How to invest $1,000 to $100,000. Hello and welcome to another video, brought to you by Funny Investors. This is a popular question, yet there's no one solution. The correct investment selection is determined by the conditions, which vary throughout time. The best method to invest, for example, might differ based on how much money you have available. Consider the many activities you would take with $1,000, $10,000, or $100,000 to invest, to see how the magnitude of the investment should drive your strategy. How to invest $1,000. Excellent work. You are no longer living paycheck to paycheck and have begun to save a little amount of money. Still, with $1,000 or less, an unforeseen cost, say, the car requires new tires or you're out of work for a few months, may put a serious strain on your finances. As a result, liquidity, or the capacity to obtain money quickly, is critical. Here are some ideas on where you should invest your money in certain circumstances. Number 1. First and foremost, safety. When you're just starting out, the last thing you want to do is take a step back, so safety is a top priority. A deposit account with an FDIC-insured bank ensures that you will not lose money. Number 2. Is it better to have a savings account or a CD? Savings accounts, or money market accounts, which are effectively the same thing, are an obvious choice for money you may need to access suddenly. But consider a CD as well. A savings account allows you to access your money without penalty right away, but a CD demands a commitment for a certain length of time. If you need to withdraw funds before the CD's term expires, you will almost certainly have to pay a penalty. CDs, on the other hand, generally pay higher interest than savings accounts, particularly longer-term CDs. Higher CD rates can more than compensate for the possible penalty in many situations, as long as you don't have to break into the CD within the first few months. What this boils down to is evaluating the likelihood of having to dip into the account versus the severity of the punishment. Look around. Rates on savings accounts and CDs vary considerably from one bank to the next. With a little searching, you should be able to discover savings accounts that pay more than 10 times the national average. You might also discover CD rates that are substantially higher than the norm. Taking the time to look around ahead of time might pay you in greater interest profits month after month. Examine both the fees and the rates. Interest rates have historically been the focus of deposit account shopping, but banks are increasingly charging for seemingly normal services such as printed statements on some savings accounts, so be careful to examine costs as well as rates when selecting an account. With today's low interest rates, a charge may quickly offset all of the income earned on a savings account. While it comes to CDs, the early withdrawal penalties differ from bank to bank, so keep this in mind when searching for a CD. Number 5. Consider the case of internet banking. Online banks may assist you in earning higher interest in two ways. To begin with, not being restricted to your local banks provides you additional alternatives, especially if you reside in a region with few banking options. Second, unlike traditional banks, internet banks generally offer greater interest rates. Customers banking online saves the bank money because they don't have to staff and maintain branch operations for those accounts. Banks are often ready to pass on some of these savings to their clients in the form of increased interest rates. Don't discount the conventional bank branch, but be sure to include internet banks in your search and allow the top rate win. Continue to grow. A $1,000 deposit is a good start, but your objective should be to continue saving from there. Continue to make regular contributions, and if feasible, have your paycheck transferred straight into a savings account. This manner, you may give yourself a monthly allowance from your savings to cover costs, while still ensuring that every paycheck contributes to your savings. Number 7. Build a dividend portfolio. What I did when I had just $100 a month to invest, I opened a broker account with Easy Equities, and automated my saving and bought the S&P 500 ETF every month, and increased my savings every year. As of writing, I'm contributing $100 a month automated into my Easy Equities broker account. This is possible because Easy Equities is the only broker with so small broker fees that even a small investor with only $100 a month can participate in the growth potential of the stock market. How to invest $10,000. Your thriftiness is beginning to pay off. You should have more than enough money to cover emergencies now that you've saved $10,000, and you can start thinking about putting money aside to fulfill long-term financial objectives. Here are some things you can do. Number 1. Define your objectives. Your investing selection should be primarily decided by your financial goals and the time range in which those goals must be met. Are your funds allocated for a vehicle purchase next year, a down payment on a house in 5 years, or retirement in 30 years? Determine your priorities so that you may make investments that are in line with your objectives. Number 2. Should you invest or pay off your debt? Do you have student loan debt hanging over your head, or have you ever let your credit card spending get out of hand? Paying off debt is sometimes the most beneficial investment. Especially if you have high-interest debt, such as credit card debt, paying it off will likely save you more money than investing. Recognize the functions of stocks, bonds, and cash. Stocks, bonds, and cash each have unique qualities that make them ideal for a variety of requirements. Cash or cash equivalents, such as savings accounts, may not provide a high rate of return, but they provide instant access to your funds, making them appropriate for short-term requirements. Bonds are more likely to provide greater interest rates than bank accounts, but their value may fluctuate between now and their maturity date. If you match the maturity date with the time of your need for money, they might be ideal for intermediate goals such as purchasing a car or making a down payment on a home. Just be aware that anything other than U.S. government bonds carries a considerably higher default risk. Finally, stocks expose your money to the most danger, but they also have the biggest potential return. That potential for return might help you remain ahead of inflation in the long run. Stocks are most suited to long-term demands, at least 5 years in the future, due to their unpredictability. Take into account tax-advantaged vehicle. Consider a tax-advantaged vehicle such as an IRA or an employer's pension plan when investing for retirement. A pension plan allows you to contribute more yearly than an IRA and may also contain company matching funds, so it should be your first choice for retirement savings in many circumstances. The tax advantages of these accounts, however, need a commitment on your side, as there is a tax penalty if you withdraw the money before reaching retirement age. How to invest $100,000? At $100,000, your funds can begin to tackle some heavy-duty jobs, such as paying your retirement or your children's school. Here are some things you can do. Number 1. Divide your funds into categories based on their intended use. Your funds are now large enough to work toward numerous goals, so pick those goals and split your savings accordingly. For example, you may have a 3-year $400 set aside for a down payment on a house, as well as assets in a long-term mutual fund allocated for retirement. Number 2. Consider if a Roth or traditional IRA is better suited to your needs. When you open an IRA, you can choose between a Roth and a regular IRA. A Roth IRA is financed with money you've previously paid taxes on, but a regular IRA isn't taxed until you start drawing on it in retirement. Choosing between the two frequently boils down to determining whether you are at a higher tax rate now than you will be when you retire. If you are currently in a higher tax rate, a conventional IRA might allow you to postpone taxes until you are in a lower bracket. If you believe your tax bracket will be higher when you retire, it may be preferable to pay the taxes now and invest the money into Roth IRA. If you have children, start saving for their education. If you have children, you can earn a tax break by putting money aside for their education in a Section 529 plan. Contributions to these programs are not deductible, but the plan's investment earnings are not taxed. Just be careful not to donate more than you think you'll need, because the funds from these programs must be utilized for qualifying tuition expenditures. Diversify your financial portfolio. As your assets rise in value, it becomes increasingly vital to reduce your exposure to any single security. This entails diversifying your assets by holding various asset classes and equities rather than concentrating your holdings in just one or two. At $100,000, the most cost-effective method to diversify is with a mutual fund. If you don't want to make many specific investing decisions, a life cycle fund might be a smart method to diversify across several asset types that are appropriate for your stage of life. Varying techniques for different amounts of money need revisiting your investing plan as you increase your savings. A strategy that worked for an $1,000 investment may not work when you reach $100,000, but that's a good issue to have. We have come to the end of our video. Thank you for watching, and please let us know your thoughts on how you would invest the amounts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this one.